Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Counter-Strike Confederation's Wednesday night showing of the Elite Quarterfinals. Tonight, we have a banger of a match. The H4K Walling Wizards, 5th seed, against the Cow Ribeye Rippers, 4th seed. Tonight, we have a great production team. Our casters, Nexus and Owen, Firehawk and Freeman on the observation deck with Mechatronic in the production chair. I am joined by Starly. Starly, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Childhood dream ever since I came out of that Pokemon egg to be casting Elite playoffs, and here it is realized. I'm excited.
I'm just as excited as well. Take me into this just a little bit, this matchup that we've got tonight. H4K Walling Wizards, the 5th seed, like I said earlier. Ribeye Rippers, 4th seed. I mean, what type of match are we looking at here?
Yes. So, Cal was 7-3 and H4K is 6-4, and because of tiebreakers, the two teams ended up being seeded really close. And for me, this is a really interesting matchup because these teams did not meet during the regular season. And when I was looking at just some map analysis throughout, uh, I'm very very interested to see how the map pick ban kind of plays out because Cow has been permabanning Ancient this entire season. It's H4K's best map. They have 6 maps played on Ancient. And they're 4-2 on it. So Cow immediately already is kind of a nightmare matchup for this Walling Wizards squad. Meanwhile, you look on the other side here in terms of what would H4K ban first. It's kind of a pick your poison when it comes to the Ribeye Rippers. They've got a strong Anubis, very strong 63% round win percentage. They're 2-1 on it. But also H4K is carrying a bit of a weakness here in that they don't play Inferno and Cow does. So do you leave Anubis open and try and bring something new into that, or are you going to first time Inferno into a team that's already, played it once? So I'm very curious to see how this map ban uh, shakes out.
Yeah, and we're going to be having the map selection in just a moment. But before we do, let's take a look at the rosters of these teams that we have going up against each other. On the Ribeye Ripper side, it's Cantor, Iguana, My Rival, Dyran, and Halcyon. Over on the Walling Wizard side, Jack, Citron, Mekiz, James Coda, and SDO with a sub, I believe, for just the first match tonight. Who are our players to watch here, Starly?
Uh, let's start with the Ribeye Rippers here on your left side. For me, Iguana and Halcyon are the two I'm looking at. Uh, Fifth and sixth in the regular season for Impact. Iguana's packing a 117 and Halcyon's packing a 116. If Cal wants to win this series, both of these players need to maintain that form, if not exceed it. They've got great support players in Dyran and Cantor, and also they've got the most prolific opper in the tier in My Rival. And so the formula here for the Ribeye Rippers to win is it looks simple. Of course, whether or not they're going to be able to execute that against a good team in H4K remains to be seen.
Absolutely. And I asked both of these teams, the captains, Cantor and Coda, asked both of them, how are you feeling coming into this match? How's the season been for you? Cantor had a couple of interesting things to say. Our season went well, 7-3 record. Feel that we still underperformed for our own expectations. Mentioned match day one in the loss in a 2v1 T side post plant scenario, match day three without Iguana as well. Match day 8 with a tough match, but still feeling good coming into this series, of course. And over on the H4K side, Coda mentioning that, they were doing fine early on in the season, started off pretty good, but then trolled maybe just a little bit too much and decided they wanted to be just a little bit more responsible coming into this one the last few match days. So they didn't have to get to the play-in so that they could make it here tonight to the elite quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean, Cantor's statement rings especially true because they had a tough loss to OS 11-13 on what I believe is their best map in Anubis, and match day one always very volatile. Everyone's new to the league; it's hard to establish kind of like a power level for everyone across the board. But I think the one that he's going to be beating himself up the most about was that match day 7 or 8 loss to UPS when Cal was up 10-2 on Vert, and then ended up losing that map 11-13. Um, for H4K, I think maybe the trolling happened a little bit, but I think also part of the thing with H4K is they started trying to branch out towards the back half of the season in terms of playing additional maps. They pulled out a surprise pick of Nuke against us in our match day. I think they were trying to play Vertigo against DRG. I think both of those games ended up being losses for H4K. So while I do commend, the effort to try and expand that map pool, knowing that you're in a good position to make the playoffs, but if you come in playing, just Ancient, just a couple of maps, you make yourself very narrowed out um, for these best of threes. I commend that effort, and I think tonight when we look at who on H4K is going to step up and lead this team, I think it has to start with Citron. Yeah. Uh, Through the first three games in Elite, came in, lit up the tier, had like a 1-4 impact and a 1-4 rating. It was kind of ridiculous. Came down to earth, if you even want to call it that. He's tied for second right now in the tier with a 1-2-4. And I mean, it needs to be on his shoulders to get the Walling Wizards across the finish line against the Ribeye Rippers. The big question for me tonight is who is going to join Citron's ranks, right? CS is a team game. Obviously, there's going to be heroics from individuals throughout the series, but can someone consistently step up to work with Citron to get H4K across the finish line? During the regular season, individual players and individual matches did do great. We have the likes of Jack Meck is a former Cal member looking for revenge on his old team, but it just wasn't quite there because all three players are posting below a 1 rating right now. So can someone, you know, elevate their play for the playoffs to ensure that H4K season doesn't end here?
Well, they're certainly not going to be elevating it to the 53rd floor Vertigo band first as we get into our map ban. Ancient going away by means of Cow, like you were saying, hopefully looking for a Mirage or an Anubis here. And it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, that is a Mirage pick by H4K.
Yeah, and Cal should go Anubis here without a doubt. It's again their best map by far, a 63% round win percentage, which is straight ridiculous when they have a loss on it somehow. Really makes you think about how lopsided the 2 wins were. Um, so far, no surprises, but I do wonder what ends up being the decider map here. I think both teams have played Nuke once. I'd be shocked if H4K let Inferno through. But yeah, there's the Anubis pick that we were expecting, and I think you're going to see an Inferno ban here on 5, and then I think Cow's going to probably take out Overpass, so we get Nuke for map 3 if it comes to that. Um, I hope you're excited to watch Chicago Mirage, Atrax.
I'm absolutely excited. I mean, Mirage looks great whether you're watching Recruit tier or Elite tier, if you're asking me. And it looks like it is that nuke going through for our decider map. I really hope that we make it there. It's always a great for me to see high level teams play on nuke, all the different sorts of executes that they can do, and especially with the mention of just a little bit of trolling on the H4K side. Looking forward to the elite quarterfinals that we have going on here. So now that we know the maps, maybe what's your prediction? Who do you think is going to take this series, Starly?
I think I still have to go Cow 2-0, and I think we'll know the outcome of the series by the time Mirage finishes. I think if H4K loses that first map, and again, they're playing with a substitute, so the stakes are even higher than they would normally be. Normally, you have Daniel H in that position, a 107 rated player. They're number 2 this season. He's not in, SDO's in. SDO has been a great filler this season so far, so credit to him at a 108. I think he's posting like 88 ADR for the 2 games he's subbed so far, but a substitute is not your full roster. If H4K can win that Mirage, Nuke is such a coin flip, but I weigh Anubis so heavily against H4K. They've played it once this season. I think they have a win on it, 13-8. But there's a reason why Cow did not get Anubis after I think it was match day 5 or 6 after they beat the Gloop Troop on it 13-6. That's a map that if you do your homework, you just don't want to have to give over. But as I mentioned earlier, you're in the best of threes. You're kind of getting pinched on your map pool. But I think I'm still going to go Cow 2-0. Partially because Elite hasn't had a 2-0 out of the 3 series that have been played so far. Every other series yesterday went to a 2-1. So let's be, spicy. Let's be against the grain here, and I'm going to call a Cow 2-0.
Cow 2-0. Is it a dominant 2-0 or a close 2-0? I gotta ask.
I think Mirage could be close. Cow does not normally play that map. I don't think they've played it this regular season, if I remember correctly. No, they haven't. So it's the first time playing it in the playoffs, and that could really be a close game. But I don't think Anubis will be close. H4K needs to win Mirage convincingly, somehow find a way to maintain that momentum through map 2 and then potentially into map 3 as well.
Alrighty, well, you heard it. I think I'm gonna go. I'll hop on the bandwagon, but I'm gonna say it's gonna be a 2-1. I'm hoping for a banger series because I always love it when it's close. It makes for a great cast. It makes for all sorts of great content here at the CSC. But I mean, I'll still side with you. You've convinced me. But the question is, like we said, will Citron be able to carry through? And with that sub of oh boy, SDO.
Yes.
SDO, yes. Whew, I remembered it correctly. And the sub SDO, which I believe is for the first map only. So we'll get to see how that plays in through the series as well. I'm not sure. I believe we are getting close to game. We're just trying to get everybody into the server. We are waiting for players, but we will be switching in just a few minutes. So let's talk just a little bit more about the series overall. So we have H4K Walling Wizards, for those of you just tuning in, the 5th seed versus the Cow Ribeye Rippers, our 4th seed. And it is going to be, the maps are Nuke Decider and Mirage. No, Mirage's first map, and then Anubis with a Nuke Decider against these teams. Desk is heavily favoring Cow, but we will find out momentarily. Let's talk more slightly about the sub, Starly, while we have just a second here for one map. How is this going to play in?
Well, Elite has had a interesting spate, if you will, of super substitutes. There have been a couple of players that, because of their PFA designations and also maybe because they've taken a season or two off. I know we had 2 former Premier players. I was on the receiving end of one of them. Not a fun time. It does seem like the volatility with substitutes this season has been pretty staggering. And so it does remain to be seen that if SDO can pull a little bit of magic out of his hat and will H4K across on this first map, certainly they'd feel a lot better, especially with Citron coming back in for maps 2 and 3. The thing I'm interested in is that because of the side selection, Cal has a 62.7% win rate on their T side, which is by and far away the best in the tier. It might be very, very strong within CSC as a whole. Does Cal start T side Mirage? And how many rounds would they need to win to make it comfortable when they eventually flip back to their CT side, with which they only in quotation marks have a 52.8, I think, percent win rate, so much closer to 50-50. If Cal comes out of the gates, barnstorming their way to double digits on that Mirage T side, this series could be over fast and potentially ugly. But I think players are loaded into the server now. I'm excited for a good series. Let's get the show on the road.
Yeah, let's take it to our casters.
All right, we're in. We're ready to go. We're excited for some Counter Strike. I'm Owen, and I'm joined here with Nexus. How are you doing tonight?
It's a Wednesday night. Just got home from class, and I'm ready to cast some Counter Strike. And
Yes.
it's a phenomenal game. It's playoffs are always going to be a very interesting and very exciting moment of Counter Strike, especially here at CSC, where we pull out all the stops whenever we have all the production team ready here. We have Mecha doing all this, the graphics, the transitions, everything. We have analyst desk now as well. So it's really nice to see everyone come out and really show their appreciation for the Counter Strike Confederation.
Yeah, it's super cool, and I'm excited to just get into the action very shortly once they get all 10 players in. But I want to hear from you first. Sort of listening to what the analysts had to say about the maps and about the players. Are you leaning one way or another? Because I think I have one storyline I don't think was touched on that I'm going to bring up. But how are you feeling?
I mean, obviously it's going to be a good game, right? Obviously, it's the number 4 seeded team against the number 5 seeded team. They're here for a reason. They claw their way throughout the season, showing off that they have phenomenal players and a phenomenal strat behind their captains and their in-game leaders. But I think I'm going to lean mainly towards Cal here, as you know, Cal just has I think just has a little bit more going on for them, right, with Dyron going in. But just being told right now, I think we have all players ready to hop into the server here. So why don't we switch over into the game?
Yeah. The only thing that I did not hear the other analysts bring up that I want to make clear is that this is another season of H4K Elite making it into playoffs, and they won 3 seasons in a row of in Elite. They had, and across those seasons, there were 2 different seasons where they had a completely different 5 players. Not a single player was the same, and they still won back to back. So that's something I'm excited to see. That's why I might be leaning towards H4K, just for sort of that story, if that is a possibility, if they can keep that going, keep that streak going. But from what the casters were saying, it does seem like it's going to be favoring Cow a little bit with the way the maps are going.
Yeah, especially with with the analyst, how Sarli had mentioned that Dyron being a good support. There's no point in having players who can frag, such as Iguana, Alcyon. There always has to be someone supporting them, bringing up to that ability to get those frags to have such high impact. And Dyron, the unsung hero, obviously, having them take all the name and the glory there. But got to give him a good shout out, and that's why I believe a cow should be the definite winner. Um, I don't think it should be a 2-0. I do believe it goes all 3 maps, and all 3 maps are going to be close, just because of how well these teams can really play.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if this Mirage map goes in favor of H4K. Because from the way that the analysts were talking, it sounds like Anubis is supposed to be just a open and closed book of Cal written all over it. So I'm interested to see if H4K is going to be able to bring the heat on Mirage. Quick little note: we are having a bit of technical issues trying to get things with the game working. I think it has just started, but we are still trying to get things fixed on our end to be able to see the game and to get underway. But we'll sit here for another couple moments just to see what's going on. But yeah, I mean, I'm always a fan of watching Elite and Prem because I know a lot of people in it. So this is a different day though. There's a lot of players in this lobby that I'm not the most familiar with. I maybe played against for 1 season, so it'll be exciting to see what comes from them once we're able to get into the game.
Yeah, I know you have mentioned seen a lot of names here that you don't normally recognize. I do recognize Dyron. They're definitely a player that I wanted to pick up back in Contender a couple of seasons ago, and to see them in Elite showing off their stuff just shows that, hey, they had the stuff to pull it up in Contender, and now they're all the way here in Elite in the quarterfinals. It's you know it's nice to see that players like to improve and they're willing to put in the effort to improve here. And I mean, that's really what CSC is all about, right? Putting in some good effort to make sure that everyone can reach that new level of Counter Strike. But we are here into the game here. We do see the wall of wizards taking the first turn, and the bomb is being planted on in.
Yeah, it does. We're right in the middle of the action on round 2. It looks like H4K are off to a bit of a stronger start on the Mirage pick, like we were expecting. Picking up the pistol round, and now in a post play in a 2v3 for this second round. Jack, low HP, but is doing tons of damage. He does go down to Dyron, and it does leave SDO in the 1v2 against Halcyon on the 5-7, but the 5-7 headshot is going to be enough. No kit, but I believe they still have enough time to get this defused, and that's going to be turning it around and going to go 1-1 after just round 2. And I think that's where I think I see a lot of struggles for teams in CS2, especially, is not winning the conversion after winning the pistol round. So that's a big pickup for Cal to take that round.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw it here in Premiere as well. It was a consistent back and forth. Teams would win the pistol round and end up losing the subsequent round. And I can't tell if it's because of the economy, the way the economy works. The CTs kind of have no real way to play around it. They either have to go for a save or have to go for a force. And when you do force into those guns, you kind of play these more ratty positions. You play a little bit more up close and personal with pistols or SMGs, and kind of being more hyper aggressive here on the CT side is what's going to win you that second round.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, if just because forcing them down to pistols, Cal is going to be able to convert this round and start a little bit of a streak, at least get 2 in a row. But starting off early, Citron does go down to Cantor. and we are going to see a 4v5 in the early round for H4K to try to recover here. Just a couple deagles, some P250s. Shouldn't be much anything of note, but this is I think Mirage and CS2 is actually pretty interesting and fun, just because I think the way that the smokes have changed, it leads to a little bit of excitement. Things are a little bit different, but excitement from Mechas. He's going to try to get something started for H4K here. He is going to get the first kill, or get a kill back for the T's, but it looks like that might be all that was in store, as he's very quickly left to be the last one alive. P250 at range will not outgun the M4A1S, and Iguana will pick up a second in the round and put an end to the pistol buy from the H4K Walling Wizards.
Yeah, I know you mentioned, the new CS2 mechanics, the way the smokes kind of play around, especially here on Mirage, a map that we're all so familiar with. Starly had made the joke of, Chicago Mirage, and it's a popular meme amongst the Counter-Strike community for a reason. Anytime you're in the face of puck, Mirage is almost always the map that you're going to be playing here. And so to be able to blow past the jungle smoke or the stair smoke and get a quick kill and then fall back to cover is such a game-changing play here, as we do see SDO, the substitute player for the Walling Wizards, fast up mid.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of space early. This smoke towards Cat has put them all behind it, but Iguana might hear some of this movement. He definitely hears a couple. He sees the gun barrel, but he takes a second to register that. A headshot onto Mechas drops him, but Jack is going to trade back immediately. Dyron is getting spammed down, but there's also some damage from the window player. My rival is going to go down with a ship, but he takes down James Coda with him. Cantor gets a dink onto Citron, but the crouch peek headshot is enough to get the advantage back in the favor of the Walling Wizards here. I thought that they were going to commit up Cat right off the bat there, but they slow down and cause all these rotates. Both CTs are over towards market. The HE from Dyron is going to be enough to finish off the low HP Citron, but the two Ts are still pretty low themselves. The A1S from Halcyon will be enough to one-shot to the head, as they're both at 50 HP.
Yeah, both players are low here for the Walling Wizards, and two players coming in from CT fast on the retake. He made a step and a good swing by Dyron. We do see Halcyon going for the secondary trade, and it does work out. The Ribeye Rippers picking up the third round on the Walling Wizards map pick.
Yeah, I don't think Jack was expecting both CTs to be swinging from there. I think they were still expecting one to go through market after getting that pick towards market, but Cal definitely handling that situation perfectly. Doubling up, making sure to trade out, especially when Dyron's the first one to take contact low HP. It all but guarantees Halcyon's going to have a very, very advantageous fight trying to close out the round, and that's exactly what happens. So put back onto pistols are the Walling Wizards. Nothing really getting started. We missed the pistol round, so we don't really know what happened or how it played out. We don't know if it was a close round or if they dominantly just won or not, but yeah, that's all we're left with. And the op is going to strike my rival. Going to pick up one and get a leg onto the second. A little bit of a flub nade. He's going to try to peek out, and pistols are keeping an eye out on him, and SDO is going to pick up the first on the Mac 10. Halcyon, a bit of a messy spray. He only gets the first, and my rival there tries to pick up another, but the headshot from Citron clips him through the edge of that box in market. And the T's are at a 2v2. Bomb gets picked up. It's recovered by James Coda. He's going to get the bomb plant, but Citron gets spammed down through that smoke. 1v2 here for the H4K player. James Coda does not seem meant to be, as Dyron's retake from Cat is going to be faster than he expects. And we're going to see a fourth on the board for the Ribeye Rippers.
Yeah, I mean, good plays coming out by both Dyron and Cantor there. Citron, the absolute demon here for the Walling Wizards, the higher rated player of the team. Showing their worth their weight in gold here, but obviously the retake was just that much better. Cantor with a good solid spray down. That's the game sense coming in, knowing their angles, knowing that someone might try to get aggressive in towards market, maybe try to peek for some info, maybe try to pick up an extra gun that had fallen in market and just gets called out there. And James Coda wanted to get ahead of the play, wanted to get ahead of that retake, trying to take out and isolate the 1v1 in market for Cantor, but they were just too close to, up close on Cat, and the trade it came in rather quickly. But another bomb plant down for the Walling Wizards does mean that their buy into this round and the subsequent rounds should be somewhat better.
Yeah, I'll have to see if there is going to be sort of a recovery now that they are back to having full rifles again. Pretty even on both sides. The op comes out for Jack on the side of H4K and Citron. You mentioned him being the highest rated player. He is the highest rated player not only on this team, but in this entire lobby. You have Halcyon and I believe it was Iguana, who are both having a great season themselves. So they're not too far behind, but can't put down Citron. He already picked up one. Mechas will get a second. The trade back from my rival does pick up try to even the score, but A no-scope leg onto James Cotto will not put him down, and that's going to leave Halcyon in a 1v4, with Citron picking up their second in this round. A little bit of damage, and the money hasn't been quite built up yet for Cow. So even if he was still at full HP, I would not be expecting much. James Cotto gets finished off by the headshot of Halcyon, and they're going to tuck tail and leave, and they're going to try to save here.
Yeah, it definitely does really come down to that opening pick by Citron, forcing that cap player to not only go down but give up so much map control in middle. There was no one really fighting for mid. We did see my rival miss the first shot there, forcing him to fall back here. Halcyon taken out. Unfortunately for the save.
At first I thought they were just trying to hunt, but they left the bomb in the cubby at top mid, and they had to go chase him down and go that direction. A little bit of it could have been a little weird, a little scary, but it's gonna end in the Walling Wizards fighting back and picking up their second of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And to get back to my point, the right Citron in the opening pick does now put the Ribeye Rippers in a bit of a position to rotate. They have to now move one player off of a site, move them closer towards mid, maybe pick up a gap that could have been left over from that first pick on Cat there, and the rest of the team kind of just solidified and took the opportunity to just take the map and just take these opening kills here. We do see SDO coming out onto the A side of my rival. Way to pick up kill. But things are coming.
I don't like this. I do not like this at all. They just walked right into the USP stack. There's so much damage. James Cotto at 4 health. Mecca's at 41. There are only 2 USPs left, and one is getting spammed out already. But Cantor actually wins the fight onto James Cotto and drops the bomb towards T spawn. And Halcyon, the USP dink and some damage going on to Citron, but it's not going to be enough to stop him. And Mechas and Co, they should be able to just recover this bomb and safely go and plant it. Citron is low HP, but he is not afraid of anything, hunting down that third, and he will get it. Cantor goes down, and that's going to be the third coming in for H4K.
Yeah, it's always scary when you're going up against pistols and you walk into the stack guessing incorrectly on where the stack would be. And I believe there's a player, I believe that was Cantor or Halcyon, I believe, excuse me, that was under Palace. Now, when you have that many players stacked on towards A, you now have to play a game of, are they going to clear me or are they not? You already killed 2-3 players on the A side. You should assume that maybe that should be the stack, or there's one more. And so playing under Palace, trying to hold for time, try to get a sneaky kill with the USPS is not really ideal, but it could also lead you to some great effects. So we do see my rival smoked out from mid, trying to take a cheeky shot, trying to get a quick opening pick. It doesn't work out.
Yeah, and this ramp smoke is a bit aggressive, but even more aggressive play out of Cow. You have a double apps walk from Iguana and Halcyon. It's going to result in Iguana going down to the op of Jack, but it's traded out by Halcyon. And Cantor is going to pick up one in connector and gets traded out immediately after by SDO. So trades going both directions. And we see a 3v3 here. The T's are split up, one towards apps, one in mid, and one outside of one in Palace, excuse me. This ramp push from Dyron could be everything, though. I don't think Mecca is going to be ready for it, and he is not. The bomb gets dropped, and this is a very, very scary situation. It is a 3v2 here. The T's could have the advantage. SDO going to finish the job of James Cotto. My rival goes down, and it leaves SDO in a 1v2 to try to clutch out this round and equalize the scoreboard.
Yeah, and it's more than doable here. SDO does have a good amount of HP. Dyron on at least half, so it'll only take about a couple of bullets to finish off the kill there. And SDO making a lot of noise coming in. Is been spotted, but Halcyon is very quick on the rotate. They're coming in, picks up the first kill and does get the headshot, and does pick up the bomb as well. And it's forced to leave. Halcyon, not knowing if they're going to come in fast, but now after hearing that molly coming in, they should know that that plant should be coming in soon.
Yeah, this is honestly scary for SDO still. They get the first, but I don't know. There is so much that they have to be worried about. They are looking towards Palace, and that is exactly what they need to be worried about. They are planted triple here, and this might just be the best position they could be in for this post plant, if not just going straight back to CT. But they're very nervous of all these different angles. And here's the walkout from Halcyon, but it's enough HP on him to be able to secure this round for the Ribeye Rippers and keep the lead going for them. This is going to be the fifth, make it a 5-3 scoreline, and yeah, I don't know. I think that HP really is the difference maker. If SDO didn't take so much damage, I think the fight could have gone his way there, and he would have won.
Yeah, we also have to really assume like how the fights come into order. Hadn't SDO gotten Halcyon first, Dyron still would have been on 50 HP, and all it took was 2 bullets. We did see Halcyon get taken down to 45 HP in that clutch, and it's the difference maker between winning and losing a round. There's Ribeye Rippers could have been 6-2. or excuse me, 4-2, excuse me. But it's not 5-3, right? It really does come down to that micro adjustments. The last second play, the last second adjustments there. We do see my
Ooh.
rival quick on the ramp pick, and that's Jack taken out.
Yeah, I was looking at the stats a little bit before this game, and just as we were switching over into the game, and my rival statistically has been the weakest player for this Cow team this season. But this game, they are off to a hot start, but doing quite a bit of damage, and they're already getting picks in the beginning of the rounds, a headshot on the ramp, and another kill towards mid on SDO. And even though they lost Dyron, I mean, they still have the main advantage for these CTs. 2 towards mid for the Walling Wizards. We have Citron and Mekis, while James Coda is over towards Palace, but Citron is going to get the trade on a Cantor after Mekis goes down. And there's the double headshot out of Citron to make this round interesting. James Coda crosses out, smokes off, deep CT. My rival pushes ahead of it. He catches a glimpse. He sees him rotating back towards T-spawn, but he doesn't connect the shot. Citron is trying to make something out of nothing here in mid, and they are going to go towards B, but that's exactly where these CTs have rotated towards. My rival sticking towards the jungle position by the murder hole, but here's Halcyon boosted on this little van ledge. He spots the first. It's going to be a clean spray. Citron goes down, 35 seconds left, and James Coda has to make a decision. Is he going to commit out towards this B site or not? And it looks like he's going to do the latter. He is going back through to mid. He's going to try to go up through this connector, I believe.
Yeah, he doesn't have time for this. He has to book it now. He has to make a whole bunch of steps. Doesn't have any utility to play around it. And he's going a longer way.
I don't like this.
He does have time for this, but yeah, so sneaky. And he's going back to the B side, trying to outbrain the enemy.
Oh, but they're already here. He has 8 seconds left, and they're both here. He has no time for this. As soon as he plants this bomb, Halcyon's going to swing out, and there's going to be a headshot 2 in the round for Halcyon, and that's going to be another round going in favor of Cow.
Yeah, just outbraining yourself. You're going against your better judgment there, going absolutely crazy, trying to do something, out of the way, and it just comes to really bite you in the rear. Sometimes it's better to just stick to the simplistics of the game. Just go simple, just go A, go B, right? But I respect the change, right? You're always should be expecting a fake here, especially when here towards Elite and Premier. These players, they have played the game for thousands of hours, so they have all this experience that they want to use, and they're going to use every bit of it.
Yep, and it looks like we are going to go back into a bit of a 2-on-2 setup with Iguana not pushing close towards mid, being a little bit more aware of an apps pop, and that's what we have in store. All of H4K as a group tier, and Citron was dropped an AK, I believe by Mekis, to try to make something out of this round. So the AK is going to need to be getting some trade kills. Jack goes down alongside James Coda. The AK activates on the back of Citron. He picks up one, jumping out of apps. It's a ton of damage traded, but it does not go in his favor. Iguana is going to be able to stop Citron's AK from having any more impact, but his shoulder peeks out enough by Get Right. Dyron in from the cat retake, and this somehow is a 2v2. Mecha is pushed down to 4 HP, and Cantor rips off the head of SDO. This now is a 4 HP clutch for Mekis, but he will not get anything else done. Cantor and Dyron are going to combine to take out these last 2 Ts and to settle the score, pinning them up to 7 here, having officially won this half.
Yeah, I mean, a B rush is almost always never works, right? Someone always has a leftover molly. They have a bunch of smokes, or they have a really good crossfire, and you don't really expect it. But a good B rush comes with not just having someone run out and be the first one out onto the side and create another space. It comes with the flashes. It comes with the support. Being a good support player doesn't just mean tossing the flashes. It means being there to support your teammate, whether you're trading the kill, swinging together, or getting some good damage on multiple players on the site there. And just overrunning them on that B side was huge. And getting the bomb plant on top of that and taking out 3 players, I think the Walling Wizards should be happy with that one.
Oh man, I
just as I say that.
They were trying to go slow towards B and it didn't work, and they thought that they could get away with it towards A, but Cantor's A4, he just puts down this push almost on his lonesome. He gets 4 in the round, a 5th kill coming in from my rival to assist, but man, there was no contest there.
Yeah, and it's strange to see, right? Why they're going for a fast play that worked in the previous round to get the bomb plant down, but that was with pistols, and you had a nice little contact play there, right? You were walking in apps, you weren't making a lot of noise, and the CTs have to get, somewhat aggressive if they want to take space away. They either have to go aggressive mid and see that you guys are not fighting for mid control, or even head into ramp to see that there's no lurk there. But with no one pushing into those 2 positions, that B pop came in really late. and they work for them on that pistol round. But fast off the bat onto towards 8 doesn't really work out because they have the initial molly and the HE on top of that to give you some good damage, and just leaves Cantor to get that 4K. Gets taken out towards mid, but my rival is very quick there to trade onto Jet.
Yeah, it's early round. We're seeing. It looks like this round has a little bit more of a plan behind it. I felt like most of the other rounds on this T side, the Walling Wizards haven't exactly been like super prepared for what they want to try to accomplish or what space they want to group up and try to take. And they try to go out towards mid. They send a couple people out. They do get the kill, but it does get traded out by the Opper. And this ramp aggression has been killing them. There are so many rounds where Cal have just walked through ramp, and it's resulting in just such free kills. Now, James Coda does take out the Opper after Citron goes down to Halcyon. And we are seeing SDO trying to go back up to recover this bomb. A lot of damage on Iguana, but it's not going to be the kill. The flashes and the mollies are being traded back and forth. The bomb gets smoked off. That molly is going to land at the toes of Iguana, and they are dead. Halcyon takes a chunk of their health. Gets lost to that HE. Another 2v2 in the late round. There's 40 seconds, and it looks like the TS have found their answer, is to go up through Catwalk onto this B bomb site. We are going to see the 2v2 with James Coda and SDO, each having picked up a kill of their own. Same with the CTs retaking in Dyron and Halcyon. The HP difference on Halcyon, it could be the difference maker here. We have SDO closer towards Get Right inching up, and all this noise from Dyron, I think James might have been able to catch it. He's falling back into market. He should be able to communicate to his teammate that there is going to be a retaker coming in from Cat. There is going to be the apps aggression coming in from Halcyon. James is trying to draw them out. Dyron going to walk right into the crosshair of SDO. Halcyon picks up one headshot. He needs to try to grab the second here. He's running out of time. Even with a kit, SDO is playing this perfectly, and he's going to finish the round with a 3K. A headshot on Halcyon is going to at least secure a 4th round here at the end of this half. Yeah, and I mean it was like very close retake. It almost came through, but it was pretty perfectly played out for the position of the Cal players. I mean, you had that aggressive position from SDO to guarantee that cat kill no matter what was pretty much the round win there, and just a lot of noise made by the Cal players on the retake. Halcyon was trying to walk through in apps, but gave away presence and made some noise. And yeah, we're going to see a lot of noise towards this ramp here as the Cal players pop on the A exec, but there was a lot of H4K players here ready for this. They expected this A pop, but all of the kills go in the favor of Cal. Only one being dropped, but they just keep falling like flies. James, SDO, and Jack now have gone down. Citron got gushed through that smoke in jungle, now trying to retake this from Connector with the help of Mechas out of jungle. There is no kit in play that I can see. They only have some armor, but Citron and Mechas, they pick up one apiece. My rival playing towards CT here. Mechas is going to pick up the first onto Iguana, and my rival has given away their position. They know that he's over here. The headshot is going to be clean, but it's cleaner from Citron. He's going to secure the pistol round. Another pistol round for H4K in this series, both going into their favor. He should have this. Even though it's close, he's going to confirm it. 5 rounds here for the Walling Wizards. The comeback starts now if it's ever going to happen. It looks like we might still be having audio issues from Nexus. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's the round. I mean, this is still what happened last time. Is H4K were not able to secure it, and they lost the follow-up round, and it's already off to a bad start. Citron tries to go aggressive towards mid, but he goes completely alone. No extra support or help from his teammates, and that's just passing over a rifle to upgrade one of these pistols from MAC-10s from the Ribeye Rippers. So there's now a 4v5 for H4K. Seeing a bit of a slow down, just sort of a wait gonna want to see what comes their way. Mecha's aggressive into this apps as an advanced position that my rival might not be aware of. He tries to clear it, and he will, but the headshot out of the Galil will take down Mecha's. Only 50 damage done. The bomb is rotating through TV, and it looks like they're starting to collapse onto this B bomb site, but the retakes just aren't coming in. James Coda is sitting in Sandwich. He's so confident that they're going to go back to A. The bomb is, I mean, they're just waiting for the utility to come out from these Ts, but the rotates are finally starting to come in. Flashes are coming over. Jack has to do some magic here. He can get the first, but doesn't get anything else. He gets traded out. Halcyon is going to be able to take him out, and the Mac 10 on Dyron is going to finish the job onto SDO. And there is going to be James Coda's XM not finding anything in this round. And yet again, the conversion is going to go in the favor of Cal.
Yeah, I mean, winning the pistol is huge, but losing the subsequent round is not that well, especially if you're on the CT side and you had such a big round deficit right there. You're essentially giving the Ribeye Rippers a couple of free rounds to really work with and make that lead even stronger. Right, you're giving them let's say these next 2 rounds, puts them up to 11, and now you're fighting to keep them off of match point, and then you have to keep fighting to keep them off of map point, and just kind of losing the economy battle so early on is so detrimental, for the Walling Wizards here.
Right, and this is, I mean, CT economy is really punishing, especially with how few rounds there are now. It might not seem like a lot, but I mean, you're losing out on at least you're losing out on at least a couple rounds that can be played out in each half, going from 24 overall to 30. So you're losing 3 rounds in each half, and I mean that's a lot for the CT economy. That's basically a full gun round that you just don't have access to. So they need to find something in this buy. They forced up. This is going to turn into an 11-5 game if they do not win this before they can have their first real gun round back. So they're gonna need to try to find anything in this game or in this round.
Yeah, I mean, they have the Deagles, they have the 5.7s, and the MP9. They want to make some money with that MP9, but they don't want to just go too over aggressive here. SDO taking down low real quick. No armor, especially behind that MP9. And they're just trying to take some aggressive fights here in ramp.
James Coda is up close, but Halcyon's Galil rings out victorious. Iguana is going to use the MP9 against the CT, but Citron, he's trying to do everything he can in this game. He's leading his team in frags, and he's going to do it again in this round. Picks up the first kill here in round 15. A headshot straight into the skull of Halcyon. But they're rotating back into this B exec. But the CTs are not far off. Mechas is the last one to get in, and they aren't even out yet. Coming out from market, a lot of Deagle spam. My rival and Dyron are both low. There's Citron again on the Deagle. SDO picks up one onto Dyron. He's going to go down. Mechas goes down as well. And Citron on this Deagle, he's going to need this 1v2 on the Deagle is not enough. The headshots aren't there. Iguana is going to pick up 3 in this round, and that's double digits reach for Cal on H4K's map pick.
Yeah, we do see a technical pause coming out. James Coda leaving the server real quick. Hopefully we'll get that settled real quickly here. But, Iguana getting all that money with that MP9, getting the triple kill in the round, now means that they can drop over and up, and they are dropping that over towards My Rival. You did mention that My Rival was, statistically speaking, the weakest member of the Ribeye Rippers, but right now on the server, they're topping the scoreboard alongside Dyron. So, the lower rated players outshining the stars of Halcyon and Iguana just shows that the Ribeye Rippers are not just the, Halcyon and Iguana show. It's everyone kind of going all at it together.
Yeah, and this is where I think the question of the firepower starts to come in, because there seems to be so much more just activation across the board from Cal. And for H4K, they are just struggling to get anything in this game. Citron has been leading his team this entire game, 113 ADR on 15 frags. You have SDO on, more than a respectable amount, and then you have Jack and Mechas both at double digits, and James just really can't find any footing. And really, there is just no one else that's able to. There's no one else that's really able to get into this game to help Citron try to bring this across the line for the team. It felt like there were so many rounds on that T side where he would pick up at least one. There's especially the one round I remember very vividly where he picks up the double kill from Khan, and they still lost that. It just feels like he's doing what he can, and it's not quite enough right now. So we're going to need to see a change of pace towards the CT side. I wonder if they're going to keep extra money on one of these players to try to get an op in the hands of H4K to see if that's going to be the answer that they need for coming back on this game.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, ops are not as powerful as they were on Go. At least that's what I've been hearing throughout all the pro players and a lot of players here in CSC saying the op is still impactful, but not nearly as powerful as it was on Go here. And it really just depends on how the player really works around the map and how they, excuse me, how they maneuver on their own team, right? Like we said, for the Ribeye Rippers, Halcyon and Iguana, some the higher rated players, and Dyron setting them up for success. Rival and Cantor kind of picking up whatever pieces are left over of the remnants of the their dominance essentially. But for the Walling Wizards, it's Citron. Who else is there to support Citron on the stats? It should have been maybe Mekis or Jack, James Cota. Someone else should be stepping up, and we're not really seeing that here. And it has to happen now. It could be the op. We might see an op crutch coming out here. Bit of a poke at the fun here, but James Cota close up. Halcyon quick onto Citron.
James Cota isn't going to be able to do much of the USP, and unfortunately for H4K, excuse me, they decided to put most of their players stacked into that B bomb site, and they did not go there. So Cow are pretty much left into get a free round and get up to 11. And I mean, like I said, they are one round out of giving over map point, and H4K have just not really spoken. They haven't really fought back at all in this game. So they need to do something. They need to find it in themselves to start the comeback that's going to happen now, or try to just mentally move on and cut their losses and understand, okay, tough Mirage, but we cooked something up for Anubis. We knew we were going to play Anubis, so we have something special cooked up and ready to go, and let's go there now and try to get this to a map 3.
Absolutely, and for this first map, we do have the sub in SDO. Now, can you really put any blame on SDO? I feel like they're doing a fantastic job coming into sub in here for the playoff matches. Maybe there was a strat that involved Daniel H. Maybe Daniel H was their primary caller. Maybe Daniel H was that defining factor, that X factor to be next to Citron. We don't really know. We'll have to see in that second map if the Walling Wizards can come up there. But the scoreline is still 11-5. We can definitely still see the Walling Wizards pull out another 5-round win streak and even more to solidify match point or even take it to overtime or even possibly win out the map in a nice reverse sweep starting now. Now that the guns are out, minimal utility for each of these players, just a couple of smokes and a couple of flashes. But that's more than enough for them to hold down a site and take some space aggressively. We did see for the Ribeye Rippers on their CT side, we saw a double push into apps there onto the B bomb side. We saw some good mid aggression. Can the Walling Wizards replicate and copy it, or are they going to say play more towards the site and just play a little bit further back?
Right, and I mean, I talked about the op, and there is none. So we're gonna have to see if the rifles are gonna be enough. But I mean, in their defense, this is really their first rifle round they've had. That they've really had a strong chance on. It seems like they tried to go for an early mid-round take, and they've cleared out that there is nothing there. But that means there is not a single player in position to try to contest this bomb going down. Not even a single player towards CT. They're all going to cross to these smokes. There are 4 CTs here waiting, and this rotate is just so late from Mekis. They should have heard the bomb plant, and Mekis just doesn't move over at all. Finally rotating in. Bomb is getting ticked down little by little as this round continues going. Dyron trying to just play behind these smokes, ready for a CT aggression, but aware of the stairs players. Here's them nearby. Citron might be the first player to make contact here. Dyron turns away from the flash, but so does Citron in the wrong direction. Dyron picks up 2 before going down. Cantor is going to make short work of these CTs and gets 2 of their own. Mech is trying to find something in this round, and they will not be able to. Going to try to get out and save this rifle. That's the best that they can hope for at this point. Need to try to save it, but that damage from Cantor, that's enough to put him out of commission. There is nothing left. Iguana, the last one standing, and map point is reached for the Ribeye Rippers on a Walling Wizards pick.
Yeah, now they have to go for a force buy, right? There is no more other round after this. They have to go for a force buy, pick up whatever else they can coming into this last round here. I do want to mention Dyron coming up huge. You did see that replay there, courtesy of Mechatronic and Amaryllis and Freeman just doing God's work here. And they over put too many players towards middle. I usually have one player towards A, one player towards CT, and the 3 going towards mid. We did see my rival take out Jack through the smoke. It's not looking well, and another kill from Cantor onto Citron. It's looking like this map is over here for the Walling Wizards.
Yeah, this is looking like it's wraps. They are just getting every kill that they can. My rival picks up a 2nd kill through smoke onto SDO. Iguana, a nice headshot through the sliver of that little angle, and This is just going to be it. Mechas goes down, and with that, it's all of this rides on James Coda's shoulders, changes places with my rival in the smoke, but Iguana is nearby to secure the round. And we're gonna see first map is gonna go in favor of the Walling Wizards, or first map, excuse me, is gonna go in the favor of the Ribeye Rippers. So map pick does not go into the favor of H4K. So we'll have to see if they can bounce back and try to steal Anubis. But I don't know if you have any closing thoughts on that first map, Nexus. But
I mean, there was not really much to say there. I mean, I'm gonna let Sarli and A-Track take it over as we head over to our analyst desk for the first map.
Yeah, definitely. Atrax, a 13-5 beating. It really did kind of feel like on Mirage. Despite winning both pistols, H4K not able to string together a kind of a coherent T side or find any openings on that CT. Curious for your thoughts on that game.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely not. For those who didn't get to see it, the first half, H4K only posting 4 rounds on the T side. I mean, the CT retakes were just absolutely insane. I believe they had let me scroll over here, a 71% success rate, winning 5 of their 7 retakes. So the retakes are just, I mean, coming in hardcore for Cow. And I mean, the second half was really no different. Like you mentioned, they got the 1 pistol round, and after that, it was just Cow all day, every day.
Yeah, and the first kill, first death differential across the board, no member of H4K was positive. I mean, again, you're already playing out a lot of these rounds potentially in a 4v5, 4v4 situation. It just wasn't able to string together rounds. But I think the straw that really broke the camel's back was the fact that H4K was not able to convert either bonus. You know, you win both pistols, you put in the effort to get those wins. Normally speaking, teams that win both pistols are posting like a 65-70% map win rate in the major currently going on right now in Copenhagen. H4K gets both, loses both bonuses. I get that when the T's plant the bomb, they have better economy than you on the CT side, but that CT pistol was kind of inexcusable. And I warned about this. H4K needed to win map 1 to maintain that momentum going into Anubis. And I mean, Atrax, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Nothing about that Mirage inspires confidence for Anubis.
No, not at all. And I mean, I will say I got the trash talk pass. I did get the trash talk pass from Coda. So I'm gonna put Coda up on flamed here. Washed IGL. I mean, come on. You're going 5 and 18 on Mirage on your map pick. Like everybody else was doing pretty good on H4K, but I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just me. That's just the stat lines. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just throwing a little bit of flame there. Come on, James Coda, you gotta pick it up. 5 and 18 on your map pick. I understand you're the IGL, but hoping to see just a little bit more. Going over to the Cow side though, I mean, popping off all around. For you, Starly, who was your player to watch during that match?
I thought my rival was hitting some incredible op shots. We brought it up earlier that H4K doesn't have like a consistent opper to kind of counteract my rival, and I mean he had a field day on Mirage. It felt like similar with Halcyon. Any opening duel that Halky wanted to take, it felt like he got. And for me, the big thing was Cow started CT. They were willing to let H4K get aggressive on them on Mirage, but it kind of felt like Cow controlled the pace the entire map. You know, at no
Yeah.
point did you ever think outside of like maybe a Citron Deagle headshot here or like maybe a couple of iffy bomb plans. Cal felt like they read the map and they were in control the entire time, despite starting on that CT side and just the level of coordination between Cow's T side and H4K's T side. I thought was really glaring.
Yeah, and I want to agree with you there. Even the little bit of hope that H4K did have, that you hope, okay, going into the second half, even though it's 8-4, it's our map pick. We can do this second half. Then they get pistol. That's great, but then that second round right away comes up Cow, and it's just, I mean, it's big, unfortunate for them. For those of you just tuning in, H4K losing their map pick on Mirage, 5-13 to Cow. Now we're looking at Anubis next. We're still waiting for people to get into server, but that gives us a moment or two to talk about Anubis. Cow's pick they're coming in definitely strong. Starly, what does H4K need to do outside of Coda stepping up a little bit more? What does H4K need to do in order to overcome the Anubis pick? I mean, you mentioned a little bit earlier that they needed to be prepared, but I mean, outside of your preparation that you've done now, you're here on match day, you're down a map. What do you need to do to come back?
I think first things first, you need to get a mental reset. Yeah, that was a schlacking on Mirage, but you need to put it behind you. You need to get to Anubis. I think the big thing for me is since it's Cow's map pick, I would expect H4K to start on that T side. The coordination and the game planning needs to be a lot deeper. It kind of felt like on Mirage, a lot of things weren't being smoked, or if they were being smoked, we were like letting the smoke time out, and then rival could swing back into that space, re-clear you. And Cow was methodical in the ways of Mirage in terms of if they wanted mid again, they would get multiple flashes from Cantor and Connector. Iguana would come up cat, rival might have blown the smoke and window, and they would pinch you. They made you uncomfortable. Cow might have seeded that space early, but they came back with a vengeance and they had a plan for it. It doesn't feel like H4K has a plan other than saying like, hey guys, we want mid on Mirage. Okay, you got mid on Mirage. What's the next step after doing that? You know? And I think a big thing for me also is the bomb discipline. But H4K left the bomb in mid of Mirage on A ramp. It felt like a lot. Multiple walling wizards were like had to redirect themselves for lack of a better term. They would get a bomb site and they would realize, guys, we don't have the bomb. How do we plan it? And Halcyon or Iguana or Cantor would be sitting on top of it. Dylan would be pushed all the way through, in an aggressive lurk position, and H4K wouldn't account for it. So for me, it's a big thing about discipline and also upping your game plan. Yeah, I think H4K needs to come in. They need to be a lot more drilled. They need to be a lot more confident in when they hit the bomb site, how they hit it, and they need to do it as okay.
All right.
Yeah.
We have 10 in the lobby. The Anubis map we were just talking about is coming right your way. We're taking it to the casters.
Yeah, and we're back in. We're already underway. CT side start yet again for the Ribeye Rippers, and that's an interesting note, I guess, is that H4K, they choose to start on the T side of Anubis. I know that can be alluring. It's pretty common to see people go to the T side early, but I don't know. After that sort of the way that game went, maybe I don't know. Maybe there isn't a right choice, but we're gonna see an early B hit coming in through the way of canals. Iguana is dropping down from mid, has a teammate with him. The first bullet connects, Mekies goes down, and Dyron picks up 2 in the back of the site. Gonna make things easy, and My Rival and Halcyon are just gonna end things quick. Daniel H, the player that was subbed out by SDO, makes their first mark in this series, finally able to touch down onto Anubis, and they pick up 2, the only 2 that H4K get in that round.
Yeah, and it was very quick too. You saw Iguana, Halcyon, and numerous other players coming in fast through middle, through bridge, dropping down on towards canals there. And I believe it was Iguana that was close enough to hear all those footsteps coming in to make that call of let's just all jump down on the timing, and it worked out, especially hitting that first shot onto the player peeking from dark. The instant headshot with those dualies comes up huge here. Smoke in front of the B main does make sure that Walling Wizards cannot go for a full-on B rush, and now they're completely shut out.
Yeah, unfortunately not going to be able to get much. They have 3 people stacked towards this B site, so they are fully ready for it. It's 3 MP9s just waiting on the other side of the smoke, and we're going to be delayed a little bit, slowed down. But I do want to talk about sort of how this really needs to go for H4K, because you lose your map pick 13-5, you get crushed. So I think the discussion needs to start, or be ready to start having a conversation of, when are we mentally in this game and ready to try to make a comeback and try to fight back and make sure that we're not just out of it. Because it can be tough. It can be difficult to make a comeback when things don't go well, and it is a clean scoreline. But losing the pistol on the next round or on the next map is not a good start. It pretty much means that Cal has now won. That makes it 6 rounds in a row, going between the end of Mirage into the beginning of Anubis, and there's probably going to be 7 in a row. So when is the pain train going to stop? I think that's the number one question that has to be answered here for H4K.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And usually it should start in the moment, right? the map is over. You guys take a couple of minutes to reset, but they went quick into this map. They got ready for the second map, ready to put it past behind them. Halcyon being baited here by that Molly, and they're pulling the rotate. James Coda, the big brain, but he misses the first kill onto Dyron.
And he's the only one out on the site. But there's so much confusion going on. I don't know what happened. No one on H4K was actually supporting his teammate. The bomb is going to go down, and Jack will get the plant. And I guess in a round like that, that's all you can really ask for. But that just felt so disjointed. I don't know what the rest of H4K were doing. James just ran on the site alone, completely. Everyone else was rotated off. The closest player was that E-Box player, and it resulted in probably no kills happening when it probably could have been at least one, maybe two.
Yeah, absolutely. And to the Wally Wizards' point, you did mention that, the best they can really ask for is getting that bomb plant down. And that's exactly what they did. They didn't get that bomb plant down in that first round there. So getting it down now here in the second does mean their economy is going to be a little bit better than the Ribeye Rippers, but they did keep 5 alive. They're able to drop an op over, and they still have, a couple of SMGs ready to, play close up and farm some cash. A bit of a miss smoke, I believe, coming in here from the Walling Wizards side, but these AKs should reign dominant when it comes to these longer range engagements. And Citron,
Ooh.
oh, the
Just not-
Caster's Curse is real.
Yeah, he cannot connect on that headshot, and that A push gets a ton of info, and they kind of rotated off towards mid to try to get some of this presence back because they were able to flush out that no one was immediately close by. James Coda, a lot of damage, but it does not result in a kill. Iguana, another kill on the MP9 in this round, and my rival is gonna activate outside of B main on a mechas. That op is already having impact on this map. It seemed like trouble. It was gonna be trouble on the first map on Mirage, and it was, and it seems like it's going to continue being a problem for the Walling Wizards. I mean, right now it just feels like nothing can really go the way of H4K.
Yeah, they're just getting picked off, willy-nilly. Citron, their highest rated player, being picked off so early in this round. They're dropping over AKs. Two of these SMGs. Halcyon can now freely upgrade into an AK-47 if they so please, and Dyron can keep that MP7 or MP9, excuse me, into this next round, knowing that the Walling Wizards, without a bomb plant in this round, have to go for a bit of a save and maybe even a half bite, but they won't have head armor, and that's just going to shred through them if they don't have that, helmet for protection there. As Daniel H is smoked off from A main, the bomb is close by, but with 25 seconds left on the clock, they have to push through with either a flash or contact out. Halcyon's watching it. He gets picked off on the first one. Traded, and Iguana fast on the trade. They're not expecting that player in Iguana to be torch found.
Yeah, and kind of a weird situation to drop the AK over to Cancer. I can understand why they would want to do it, but it was a little awkward, a little forced. I mean, kind of just burning money they don't need to be using in this round. But nonetheless, they are going to pick up the third. And, I mean, it's a little questionable. You get smoked off at like the 20-second mark. I mean, at that point, you have to just back off and call the save. You have no idea. There's 5 alive on the other team. You don't know what their setup is like. You can't really take any chances. So there really should have been a save there. It's not what we get. James Coda leading the charge, and he full blinds his team, it looks like. And it does not look like it's going to put a stop to the round, though. Daniel H and Jack on the Deagle and Tech 9 are going to get 2. It makes it a 3v3, and we get a post plant. Finally, a real post plant from H4K. Citron on the Tech 9 is up close towards this temple position. Damage traded, but the head gets ripped off by Iguana. Daniel H, 50 health on this bomb. Jack is towards E-Box with this op. He needs to get something done here. He needs to make it happen. He's mollied off, and if they just push onto the bomb, Daniel H is going to get the first on the MP9, and a second little headshot on the Cantor makes this doable. Iguana, backside, needs to fight Jack. He can just stick it. Jack has to push him. The defuse is coming in. It's going to be so close, but the headshot last second from Jack is going to put him down, and H4K get on the board with some heroics from Daniel H.
Yeah, I mean, putting the op in dark, knowing that the Walling Wizards should be on the save, knowing that they don't have the loss bonus built up enough, they didn't get a bomb plant down in the round beforehand. To put that op in such an enclosed area where they can be overrun is a bit of a mistake on the Ribeye Rippers part. They had Dyron there ready to kind of, keep things under control, but those kills had to come cleaner with that MP9. He did farm some money up, so economy is not going to be looking too bad. Halcyon on a bit of a deagle, but that was over to the drop gun from the previous round beforehand. And yeah, just a bit of a mistake. Let's lead the Walling Wizards to their first round, and the Ribeye Rippers should be hopefully able to recover from that and moving forward.
Yeah, I mean that's the response you need, and I keep going back to just when are H4K going to be competitive? When are they going to get back into this game and they get one on the board? That's what you need to get the ball rolling. A lot of damage from that Molotov goes on the Cantor. Citron is very close behind, trying to put some pressure. And it looks like if H4K want to enter towards this B site, they need to do a little more than just exec, because there are 3 people here. Citron does not hit another shot in the round. Iron is just going to take him out easy peasy like that. The boost over the smoke. Jack is holding towards long or towards jail, but Daniel H is going to get the trade from that. You know, the damage that Cantor took at the beginning of the round is going to be put to use. James Coda walking up, Dyron on a bit of an off angle, and he's going to spot the shoulder, and he's going to get a second in this round. This is going to put some pressure on these last 3 Ts to activate here. My rival on the op from Temple, he swings out to get a shot off. Jack is going to pick up one, and he's going to pick up a second at the same time that Daniel H is going to get a kill towards A main. So they need to try to get this bomb and get this bomb planted. Iguana in mid, taking the slow walk rotate, but there seems to be some indecisiveness. This could be really dangerous if they take a little too long to get across, but it looks like after inspecting towards long, Iguana is there, but a little too late. Jack gets the bomb plant, and we're now in a 2v2 with smoke on Daniel H. A flash on Jack, but the flash won't matter. That op is just going to hold that angle and secure the round. 2 now for H4K, responding back to the initial 3.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel H showing that they're worth their weight in gold. Maybe that's would have been the difference maker on Mirage. Being 7-4, 145 ADR with only 6 rounds being played, and Jack, once again, 6-3 as well. But the rest of the team is lacking behind. Citron, we did point out, that's the higher rated player of the Walling Wizards, the highest rated player of the Walling Wizards and of the lobby, as you mentioned, Owen. And they're 0-5. They need to start activating now. They have to have a lot more impact, and it has to start now if they want to keep this lead going and keep the ball rolling. The Ribeye Rippers economy not looking too good. They now have an MP9 on Iguana, but that's pretty much it, barring the 5-7 on Byron, and they're going fast on out of B here. Iguana picking up the kill, or excuse me, getting taken out by Mekis as Byron gets the trade. And some good damage onto Citron.
Yeah, all these pistols are just they're doing too much. They're doing way more than they should be. This USP from Cantor won't live much longer. Dyron on the MP9, he is 12-3 right now, and I think at least 8 of his kills are on the MP9. So I'm expecting I'm expecting you know, at least one to go his way, especially if he runs into Citron, which is exactly what happens. I mean, Dyron just picks up one, and he's going to get an AK gifted over. Halcyon deep in T-spawn, a lot of damage, but no headshot. James Coda goes down to 40, and this bomb is going to be rotating over. Jack towards mid, the spam comes in, so he knows that he needs to be careful, and he cannot risk losing this op. Oh, Jack is sticking around for way too long. He's getting run down by my rival. The USP isn't going to be enough, but Jack, are you aware of the second? He's not. The op is just going to get handed over to Cal for free. If they want to do that, they can also go for this round. They don't have a kit. There's a lot of damage done to both of these players, but they have AKs and some flashes to try to do something here if they want to go for this. But guess not. Guess they're going to opt for the save. Halcyon's going to recover the op in mid. And I mean, I can't lie. This round wasn't that bad for Cal. They're going to lead to a tied game at 3-3, but they had picked up 2 rifles, and Dyron has enough to drop a rifle over to, you know, Iguana, who bought down into this round.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you know, the captain of the Ribeye Rippers, the in-game leader, just kind of making that call. You should be able to buy while the rest of us can hopefully get something done, right? You pick up a kill, pick up a gun, and then go for the save. Or we get more than 2 guns, which is exactly what happened here. They can now drop guns over. They can have that op and come into this next round from my rival. And everyone can have a good buy with a good amount of utility to make sure that their bomb site holds are as clean and as perfect as can be with the utilities that they have. Now, obviously, my rival has no real competition in terms of opping. As you know, Sarli has mentioned, there is no opping opper for the Walling Wizards there. But you know, James Coda, Citron, all these players are still having their worth, you know, impact overall here. And it's looking like a fast A play. My rival quick. This is the shot, but back to back.
Daniel H. Double entry. Iguana on the Molotov. There could be enough, and it could be ahead. Daniel H is ahead of it, so he won't even go down to it. A lot of damage onto James Coda and Jack, but they won't result in kills quite yet. Iguana's A1S is going to activate a headshot onto James Coda. All these CGs are raining in from both teams. It's getting a little messy here. So much damage, but no more kills are coming through. 23 health on Iguana and 19 on Daniel H. But Cantor runs through the smoke and he drops 2 players. Jack and Mechas go down, but Daniel H, another headshot into this round, and Cantor's position is known. Citron on the op is going to secure A main. Byron dies. Cantor not aware of where Daniel H could be, and he picks up 4.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the Ribeye Rippers were really good on the retake, right? Knowing when to push through smokes, knowing when to catch a good timing, and when they needed to make that timing happen to ensure that the retake can even be possible. With Daniel H getting 2 opening picks towards A, and then keep pushing forward, taking as much space as they can, and getting into good position in order for a refrag or having to catch someone off guard, trying to go for a clear was more than huge. And repositioning after getting that first kill into the player heaven, and knowing that Cantor was towards half wall was even better. It made Cantor have to think of where they can be and be put into a position where they can't really clear out all the angles as safe as they want to.
For sure. I mean, that is, I think this is really showing sort of the difference that Daniel H brings to this team that maybe SDO just didn't have, maybe the commanding presence or just the, you know, the ability on the entry. It looked like SDO was sort of made to be an entry on that first map on Mirage, but they just don't really have they don't really have what it takes to match what Daniel H is able to do. And this 5-7 taps towards Citron is not going to be enough for a kill. And 5, the lead is taken for H4K. I believe this is the first time they've had the lead since they won the pistol round on map 1.
That is probably true. I mean, the Walling Wizards just haven't had that big of impact on that first map of Mirage there. And we do see a tech timeout coming in here. Cantor leaving as well. We did see James go to last map, taking a tech timeout for this, connection issues, I believe. But hopefully they should be back soon enough there. But yeah, Daniel H, like you said, the commanding presence, right? It's not to say that SDO
Guys, the
wasn't doing their
casters are
job
calling
or
us
was,
brutes.
bad at playing the game. It was just that maybe they have different playstyles that Daniel H can really do. And you saw right there, having such good impact on that on that save round there. And so, Daniel H just, like I said, maybe not just be better than SDO, but also just plays a different game than SDO could have or never, possibly have. And yep,
Yeah,
we
so
got word.
unfortunately, we have a bit of a tech issue. We're going to have to take a bit of a pause here because a Counter-Strike update came out while we were in the middle of this game, and unfortunately, Cantor's game crashed, and he was forced to update, so he is not able to connect, and we're going to have to... Yeah, so we're going to have to take a second here while they get this sorted out. It's probably going to result in some sort of shenanigans with, moving around the server, either to update the server to match the patch as Cantor and everybody else go up with him. It's probably going to be what happens. So, but for now, we're going to push to a break, and we will return once we have word of what's coming up next or if the game is coming back. Okay, we're back. It looks like there may be a money issue, so they're trying to figure this out. Potentially resulting in another restart. But we're at least here. We're at least making ourselves back into the server. Sticker update came out. We now have access to stickers in Counter-Strike 2 for the major. Yeah, they're currently fixing things. It was unfortunately incorrectly loaded with the with money and the round, so they're currently trying to figure that out. But it feels good at least to be back in the server. So
Yeah, I mean, it was a long tech pause, and Val said, "Hey, I know you guys are trying to do this cool little thing and make our game popular." No, they shut us down real fast, real quickly. But the major, Owen, who do you have for your pickums? I didn't get to do the recent pickups that came out, but who do you have specifically?
I think VP is going to go 3-0, and I think that EF is going to advance to the playoffs. So go Turkey.
That is a very base pick, and I kind of agree. I think Eternal Fire is definitely one of the more underrated teams. I feel like they they just have a lot more that they can do, right? Especially with Wicadia being such a young star, right? Especially with Zantares as well. I think Zantares' rating is like a 1.3, and Wicadia very close behind. Still, I think Eternal Fire can really do make it. I haven't done the pickums yet, but I probably am gonna put Eternal Fire as advancing. I don't know if they're gonna be as to 3-0 here. We do see, I believe, this is this is Mecca's pickums. Have Spirit going 3-0, a very classic donk, coming in with from the coming hot off of the Katowice tournament, going crazy, and even continuing on with that sheer aggression. Mouse going 3-0. That's a hot take if I've ever seen one, but Mouse still a good overall team, and you have Complexity going 0-3. I don't know how
NA
to feel
hater,
about
you hate America. I don't really know if you can even trust this guy anymore.
this. This guy's the producer. His real name is Clarence. So
hell?
0-3
Alright.
for Complexity.
I don't hate NA. I just didn't think that hard about my 0-3 picks.
NA hater, that's all I really see on the screen right now.
0-3 over teams like 0-3. Like, I mean, I think who else can go 0-3? Maybe Payne? Yes, but Complexity, the Legion, Grim, Bald Head together coming once again.
I don't know. I'm sort of like hopeful. I'm hopeful that Complexity do something, but I don't know if it could like. I have my screenshot, but I needed to change it because I didn't look at opening matchups at all. I just kind of threw up what I felt. So I will admit that my first round, apparently both the 0-3 picks are gonna play each other. What I was informed by somebody, which is exactly what you want to see, right? Which
that's a good buddy. Make sure you get all the points as much as possible here. This
okay,
is
well no, I was
always-
lied to. I'm double checking. I'll send it.
Well then, I mean, Spirit going 3-0. Obviously, once again, a very classic take. Virtus Pro, though, that is one as well. Not to say the Virtus Pro is bad, but that's definitely one of the picks of all time to have, advancing that dominantly. Now, obviously, for the 3-1 and 3-2 advancing, G2 phase, Vitality, Heroic, Mouse, and Eternal Fire, pretty standard, right? G2, or at least for phase, no very notable team. They're just kind of not dominating, but doing really good overall, especially with Frozen coming in for twists. They still have a good stand up, especially with Vitality as well. Some two good teams. G2, as much as I love G2, they can either be a 3-1, 3-0, or an 0-3, and they scare me sometimes.
Probably that's we'll say that. I hope Nick can hear me. I accidentally browser with Chad, everything open, but
Oh boy.
if Mega can't hear me, then we'll fix it, I guess. But I hope it's okay.
Well, at least I can hear you on stream, I believe. So
Okay,
your mic is
that's
still
good.
being picked up there.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, Mongols. I remember Owen for the opening stage. Yeah, Mongols going and advancing. So how do you
Yeah,
feel
they did
knowing that
that.
you were correct? Yeah, how do you feel that you were correct?
I'm always right. That's all I have to say. I'm not long. I'm never wrong.
Never wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool guy. Very similar one. And they have complexity advancing. Let's go. Complexity over, but Navi is definitely one to take. Navi, once again, not a terrible team, but not one that I still see having some bit of notoriety. Not having that same fire. I definitely would put Cloud9 maybe over Navi. Um, maybe even Virtus Pro, but still overall really good. Having Mongols going 0-3, how do you feel about that as a Mongols enjoyer, Owen? How do you feel about cool guys setting them to 0-3 for the
Well,
champions or
I also
elimination
put them
stage?
0-3, and that's just because they didn't play nearly as confidently as I was hoping they would. Or I'm less confident in how they played. Like they just sort of fell apart a little bit. I don't know. I um I just assumed that they would have done better and advanced like 3-0 or 3-1, but they squeaked by after going down 0-2.
Definitely. I mean, Mongols, they have shown that they can play at the top level, especially now that they're boot camping in the EU for the major. I feel like they can have a much bigger impact, but it's gonna take time to build up that confidence and build up, just it just takes repetition at that point. But I believe, Owen, we are still having some tech issues, so I think we might be cutting to a break again. I know we're having a lot of breaks, but Valve decided to just completely run us over here. A little join here by Amaryllis, our observer. But we'll catch
Yeah.
you guys right back here for a break. I'm like, oh shit. And we are back, I believe.
Okay,
Indeed, we are
just so you know,
back.
when are we live? Are we live? Are we good?
We are alive, yep.
Okay, cool. Look, I'm trying to use the time allotted to me with the tech pause to make sure my homework is done. I'm doing a good job right now.
An
Okay.
absolute scholar, but I mean, a good scholar would have had the homework done before he was even due. But that's just me. Can we get a huge round of applause for Martige, though, for kind of stepping in and helping being the matchmaker to get everything here solved for today's match? Just a little. It's me clapping my hands.
Yeah, thank you to Martige for getting us back in action. Just a couple highlights we have of
Oh,
some
brother.
different kills, but we are just about there to be fully live again. Should be seeing the unpause. It looked like money was all correct. The rollback happened perfectly. It's what we were expecting, what we needed to see. We're at the correct score line. Just a little bit of a random delay in the middle of things, but we are getting back there.
Yeah, I do want to point out. That the players now have also switched orientation. So Daniel H was number 0 on the scoreboard, or at least on the HUD, and now for the observer having to readjust to that as well is going to be a little bit difficult. I know I would have hated it, but at least we have a match to observe, and we're happy, we're glad, and things are looking peachy. I hope.
That should be the goal here, because this has been a long fixing in the making to get us to where we are. So
Yeah, and it's not even
I
Tuesday.
agree. It's not, and I think that just makes things worse.
Yeah, I mean, usually Valve decides, hey, you guys specifically chose Tuesday and Thursday, so that's where we're gonna make our updates. And then once we have rescheduled, it's, hey, I know we said Tuesday. I know we said Tuesday, but how about now? And it's only for stickers. Like when new operation. We already got new skins. When new operations. Tech timeout has been officially called out. We do see the Ribeye Rippers, almost said Rakers, Ribeye Rippers taking a tactical timeout here. So maybe trying to extend a little bit longer. Maybe I'm assuming just to kind of keep things in wraps and using that as a way to kind of